Life Orb Slowking, Baxcaliber, Assault Vest Wheezing, and Shed Tail Smeargle were able to make it into day 2 at the World Championship in Regulation G, almost 1 win away from making it into the top cut. And we're going to be trying out this team and seeing how well it can perform. This is Daniel Walker's Kyogre team from Worlds. There's a lot of tricks to break down. Let's get started. First, we have the Kyogre with the Choice Scarf and the Drizzle with Terra Water for extra power in the water type moves. With Choice Scarf, Kyogre is able to outspeed a huge amount of threats, including the Calyx Shadow Rider, thanks to the timid nature, which you need to in order to outspeed the Calyx Shadow Rider, as well as adding in Choice Scarf for Shifu. And this Kyogre meant to do a lot of damage with the Water Spout, Hydro Pump, and Origin Pulse with the water type attacks, and then Thunder to be able to hit the Terra Waters, as well as just water types in general that might be able to resist the water type moves that the Kyogre is threatening. It's not able to pick up one-shots against some of the casts, but it is a very scary Pokemon because it's able to outspeed a lot of the format and just threaten some pretty heavy damage, and 2 shots if you play passive against it. Not really much can switch into a really strong Water Spout in the rain with the Terra Water. So that is the idea of this Choice Scarf Kyogre. It's able to do really strong damage at the start, or can be used in the end game to clean up. And there's ways to enable the Choice Scarf Kyogre even further on this team, which we'll get into later. Next Pokemon we have is the Smeargle, and the Smeargle has the Moody with Focus Sash. It's a pretty common Smeargle set otherwise with Terra Ghost, but has one very interesting move. We normally see Follow Me, we see Fake Out and Spore. Smeargle has access to every move in the game, and this one running one of those really interesting moves in Shed Tail. And Shed Tail takes 50% of the user's HP and gets a substitute up and passes it to a partner. It's a mod that can really enable setup, especially with that Choice Scarf Kyogre, because Kyogre is very threatened in the Regulation Gen 9 because of Rillaboom with Raging Bull, Thunderclap, Grass Glide. It's just always really hard to play around, especially with a mon that doesn't have Protect in this case. So an idea you can go with the Smeargle is you can go for that Shed Tail and you can switch out into that Kyogre, give it a substitute, and allow Kyogre to have one protective barrier so it can keep firing off the really powerful water spouts, or even the strong water type moves in general. And there's a lot of ways you could set up with the Smeargle. Of course, Spore, Follow Me, Fake Out, just a really great Pokemon being able to help set up for the rest of the team. And there's other things you can Shed Tail into, such as your Slowking, Baxcaliber that can set up, the Wheezing just so it can stick around longer with the neutralizing gas. There's so many things you can do with this Smeargle set. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Thermal Exchange Baxcaliber with the Terra Poison, running a Swords Dance set with Icicle Spear and Scale Shot. We haven't seen Baxcaliber too much in the format, but still is a Pokemon that has some pretty good stats across the board: a base 115 HP, some decent defenses, and a really high attack stat of 145. And this one is actually running a Jolly set, running max speed, which is interesting. We don't commonly see that, but it makes sense when you look at it, because a lot of the things that were going to be a factor going into Worlds was going to be the Urshifu with Focus Sash. And one way you could play around Focus Sash or Urshifu is by having that loaded dice and having multi-hit moves. So if your Baxcaliber, for instance, got a Swords Dance up, then you could go for the Icicle Spear, Scale Shot, outspeed an Animate Urshifu, and then KO it afterward. You also have the Scale Shot, which does boost the speed on the Baxcaliber, which is pretty nice. And after a +1 with the Baxcaliber, you are able to outspeed threats such as like that Calyx Shadow Rider, for instance. And that can be a very big factor for helping out against those Pokemon, including Miraidon as well. The Terra Poison helps out against the Fairy type Pokemon, such as the Flutter Mane, the Miraidon, Dazzling Gleam, but also into fighting type moves such as from the Urshifu Close Combat. And it pairs really well with Kyogre because you want to go for ice type moves that are able to affect the Rila, the Amoonguss, as well as Raging Bolt, which are able to resist the Kyogre. So you either force a Terra or they take a lot of damage and potentially get knocked out with that Icicle Spear. Next Pokemon we have is the Galarian Wheezing with the Neutralizing Gas and the Assault Vest. And it's really weird to have Neutralizing Gas with Wheezing on a team, especially since you rely on your ability with Drizzle on the Kyogre naturally. But there's a lot of implications that you can set up with the Wheezing, such as shutting down opponents' abilities that are trying to get rid of your rain or your terrain in this case, or just having a lot of Pokemon that do rely on their abilities, such as the Photosynthesis and the Quark Drive mons from the Paradox Pokemon, such as the Pokemon that are trying to set up Weather, like the Groudon and Koraidon. If you have your Weather set up with Kyogre and you send in Wheezing, then those Pokemon won't be able to set up the Sun, which is pretty nice for the Kyogre as a support. And the Weezing's very nice to be able to hit super effectively again into Rillaboom and Raging Bolt, two of the biggest threats to Kyogre. With its great typing of Poison and Fairy, you're able to hit those Pokemon for super effective damage, which is incredible. Even if they're Assault Vest, a Gunk Shot can one-shot the Rillaboom because this is max attack Adamant Weezing, which is absolutely insane. The Assault Vest is able to take special attacks even better from like Raging Bolt and fire back a strong Play Rough. And you have Assurance that can catch a Calyx Shadow Rider by surprise and actually be able to hit it for a heavy amount of damage. You can also go for Assurance combinations with Kyogre and Terra Normal Explosion. Terra Normal for the Calyx Shadow Rider's Astral Barrage, and the Explosion in case you need a pivot and to do some damage, need Weezing off the field to set up your abilities, just go for the Explosion. Why not? And it's a pretty interesting pairing with Kyogre because it can help the Kyogre keep its terrain, keep the Psychic Terrain around, but also pressure the Pokemon that do threaten the Kyogre. The final two Pokemon involve the Psychic Terrain mode with the Entity next up with Psychic Surge and Rocky Helmet. Rocky Helmet's very nice to help break through Focus Ashes on Urshifu and get a bit of chip on the physical attackers. Terra Grass to help redirect the Amoonguss Spores, be able to resist the Rillaboom's Wood Hammers and Grassy Glides, as well as Electric type moves from Raging Bolt. Just very solid defensive Terra in general. The Dazzling Gleam that can help out, just get a bit of chip damage and hits Dark Urshifu, which is pretty nice. The Follow Me, of course, for the support with the Kyogre, as well as any other mons that you want. Helping Hand to boost up the damage output, and Trick Room as a speed control method. Finally, last Pokemon is the Slowking with the Regenerator and the Life Orb, which we don't really see Slowking in the regulation, but it makes sense on this team. It's able to help out, one, because offensively it's great into Amoonguss under Trick Room. B, like they have to respect both Slowking and Kyogre because there's really strong spread damage that you can go for with the Expanding Force in the Psychic Terrain. With that Life Orb, going to do so much, or the Kyogre Water Spout. So whether your opponent has a fast mode, it gets stopped by the Trick Room and you're able to dish out, or if they have a slow mode, you have Kyogre that just can overwhelm teams with that really powerful Water Spout and just able to dish out quite a bit. The Grass Knot's able to hit Pokemon again like Terra Water Calyx Ice Rider, that's able to tank attacks. The Expanding Force is able to do a ton of damage across the board with the Entity pairing. The Trick Room, of course, as a way to set up Trick Room if you need to go for the Follow Me Trick Room mode, and Skull to be able to hit Incineroar and other types such as Chiyu that are immune to the Expanding Force. And having Scald and Rain is still a powerful option without Life Orb. The Terra Grass, again, a defensive typing against Raging Bolt, Rilla, but also very nice to avoid a Spore. With the team, there are so many different ways that you can just try to set up, but you have a lot of different modes. The Kyogre is able to do a lot of damage with the Water Spout, can be used as an opener, can be used to clean up, or if you're able to set up a good position with Shed Tail, it's able to just sweep teams throughout in the mid game. Can be a very oppressive tool. And we also have like ways that just prevent your opponent from being able to do what they want to with their team, with Neutralizing Gas Weezing. That's very disruptive in stopping like grassy terrain from being set up, changing weathers with Koraidon and Groudon, and it's able to do quite a bit and stick around the field because that Assault Vest with the special defense boost really able to tank those attacks pretty well with its high physical defense already. And an Assault Vest with a good amount of special defense is really good. While the attack allows it to do so much damage, granted shaky accuracy. The Baxcaliber pairs well with the Kyogre, helps enable it because you have that Icicle Spear threat into other Pokemon and can be a sweeper on its own with the Source and Scale Shot combination. The Side Spam mode with the Trick Room with the Slowking Entity. There's just so many different ways you could set up for it. There's different ways you could Shed Tail with Smeargle. You could set up with Kyogre, set up for the Expanding Force sweep in the Psychic Terrain, set up for a Source Dance with Baxcaliber. Really, there's just so much that you can do. It's just really hard to list all of them, but it's really creative on what you can accomplish in any game because there's so many different modes that you have access to on your fingertips. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. All right, Calyx Ice Rider, Raging Bolt, the Rillaboom, Ogerpon Cornerstone, Urshifu, and Pelipper. If I can get backs behind Shed Tail, that would be really, really good. I don't know. There's a lot that could go right here. Kyogre's pretty threatening, which they do have to respect. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, can I have some nice positions against the Cali Ice? I think it would probably be backs. Maybe I don't need Shed Tail. If I get Source Hands up, that'd be pretty good. Yeah, I like the backs and I do like the Smeargle. I bring Kyogre though. It's nice to pressure the Cali Ice, but otherwise, not the best mon. I think it's probably worth it. And then I think I bring Entity because I want terrain control because of Rila. And another redirect mon is actually kind of nice for my Baxcaliber if I'm trying to go for a Baxcaliber sweep position. So let's see. Items are going to be pretty important. Urshifu for your choice scarf or Focus Sash. We have to figure out if it's probably Focus Sash on Pelipper though. So it's probably choice scarf or Urshifu. That's what I would assume. Calyx Ice Rider is going to be a pretty big threat though. Oh, we see Pelipper and Calyx Ice Rider, which is interesting. Okay. So I have Spore Pressure, really big Spore Pressure. So I'm kind of curious on how this goes, but I think I'm going to attempt a Swords Dance with Baxcaliber, and I think I'm going to sport a Pelipper, since a lot of Pelipers also can run Covert Cloak. I think Goggles is like a way less common item. I feel like this play should just be Rila. Well, you can't go Rila for the Pelipper unless you want to risk the Icicle Spear. It's rough. Maybe you could go Urshifu with your Scarf onto the Pelipper slot, and you can protect the Cali Ice to avoid the Spore, because I don't think you want to tear the Cali Ice. I'm going to Spore the Pelipper slot, and I'm going to Swords Dance. Even at the worst case, it's like I get a Spore off in the Pelipper, the Cali Ice gets to do whatever, but I think it's fine. Yes, I get a Spore off into the Pelipper. Looks like they just went straight in, which is surprising. And Glacial Lands, Trick Room. Trick Room, okay. I don't even think that's that bad. Let's see, what Moody are we getting? Special attack. Speed drop would actually not be bad. Special defense. Okay, so it's just an irrelevant Moody. I want a Swords Dance again. Yeah, I want a Swords Dance again. I want to keep Pelipper around on the field because it gives me more opportunities, and I'm going to sport a Calyrex. Maybe they protect Switch to Rila now? We do see a Pelipper swap, which is fine. Oh, into Ogerpon. Wait, that's really good for me. Because Ogerpon's run max speed. Okay. No, I think that's solid for me, actually. Okay. Because that was an extra Swords Dance. I could have went for Icicle Spear and KO'd the Ogerpon, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Alright. Attack Rise for Speedfall. Now I get the Speedfall, although it doesn't change anything. So they're going to follow me, most likely. Do I want to go Entity here? Entity Protect is not a bad play, I suppose. Or do I want to KO the Ogerpon? I feel like Protect the Baxcaliber safe. No, actually, no. They have to follow me, right? This turn, or they get spored. Yeah, I'm just going to Icicle Spear the Ogerpon and swap out into Entity. Yeah, that's fine. Trying to think of how I'm beating the Cali in the long term, but it should be all right. See a Terra? Are you Terra grassing? No, the Ogerpon Terras. The Terra. If you are like a slow Ogerpon, they got me. But I've never seen a slow Ogerpon. I don't think I have. I definitely could have faced some on Stadium Ladder. Glacial Lands is going to come out. Actually, I'll take it. Indy's able to take it. Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. They do have the defense boost, but it's +4 and 3 hits is enough to KO the Ogerpon. So their Terra's gone. Kyogre's looking pretty good. What's the last? If it's Rila, I actually prefer Rila coming in. I would love Rila to come in, actually. Because if Rila comes in, I get to go Smeargle the next turn, fake out, the Cali Ice, Trick Room's over, and then I think Baxcaliber sweeps. So I would love Rila if Rila is in the back, but it's Pelipper coming in. Yeah, I thought they were just gonna follow me. Like I could have just spored. Yeah, like I would have spored if they gave me the opportunity. So I don't know why they did that. Trying to think about how I want to position this. I feel like I'm gonna have to get Smeargle next to Kyogre. I know this is such a weird spot. I get to bring in Kyogre. That is threatening heavy damage into Cali Ice. We're gonna be able to absorb 1 Glacial Lance here. I guess this isn't too bad. Because, yeah, Glacial Land's going to be fired off, but Kyogre should be taking an okay amount. It's not going to take it super well, but yeah, we still take it better than what you would expect. I guess I'm going to sack Entity here because I want Smeargle to spore to Cali Ice in the future turns. And we're going to go for a Hydro Pump into the Cali Ice. Because Hydro Pump into Cali Ice is pretty dang nice. And then afterward, we can play games because this is probably Hurricane Glacial coming out. I think Kyogre can survive both, but we'll see. The Pelipper wakes up. Oh, goes for Helping Hand. So Helping Hand Glacial Lance is fine. That probably does less than the Hurricane plus Glacial, so I'm okay with that. Here comes the Glacial Lance. If we had Hydro Pump, we're in a really good spot because then I could go for Hydro Pump into Cali and then spore the Pelipper, which would be nice. We do hit a Hydro Pump. That's fantastic. Okay. Good damage. Rain stops, but I think Hydro Pump still KOs based on that damage. So I am going to go Smeargle because I don't think Icicle Spear knocks out Pelipper here. We still don't know the item on the Pelipper, so I'm just going to go for a safe Spore, and I'm going to go for a Hydro Pump into the Cali Ice. They could go Reela and Protect, but that's fine. I feel like if they had Reela, they would have went for that earlier. They have a Reela, right? I know they have an Ogre Pond. They did have a Reela, right? I'll double check afterward. I'm pretty sure they had a Reela, and that's why I was like trying to... That's why I brought the backs. You go for Wide Guard. Perfect. I am clicking Hydro Pump. Okay, we connect, which is huge, and that should KO. Yep, beautiful. Beautiful. And then Pelipper doesn't take a sleep turn. Excellent. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Spore into the Pelipper. Nice. All right, who's the last? Because it still matters. Special defense, fall, attack res. Okay, that actually is helpful for the Pelipper, but not necessary. Who's the final? Is it Raging Bolt? It is Raging Bulls. Okay. I kind of understand what they've been going for now. So I want to go for Spore into Raging Bolt. And I just want to go for Baxcaliber in. Because it's super safe. There's no way that they could punish this. Max speed Raging Bolt. Is it 139? No. No, it'd be fast. No, Smeargle is faster than max speed Raging Bolt, right? Because like Raging... Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are. So we get to bring out Baxcaliber. We get a Spore off into the Raging Bolt. And now we can just threaten Icicle Spears. And will follow me to protect our Baxcaliber for sure. So what do they need? They need a first turn break with Raging Bolt. They need to protect with Raging Bolt. And our special defense boost is actually pretty helpful. I'll take it. Yeah, they need a lot here. They need a lot here. Have a chance of winning. They need to wake up with Raging Bolt. They have to protect with the Raging Bolt. If they don't have protect on the Raging Bolt, they do just lose. But we saw booster energy, I'm pretty sure, so should always be able to go for the should always be having protect here, I'd imagine. And then Icicle Spear needs to knock KO, which I'm pretty sure it does, and it didn't protect, so I'm pretty sure it's game over for them. They stay asleep. Follow Me went first, so that was probably Thunderclap. I guess it might not KO here. Yeah, I need a 5-hitter, so they need a 4-hitter here. Oh, wait. That one did a lot more. These multi-hit moves sometimes with their damage rolls, but okay, we KO'd the Raging Bolt. Game is over. I don't think Pelipper can win at all. But no Terra or anything. I have Thunder Kyogre in the back with Scarf. Pelipper still asleep. Yeah, it's over. So I just go for Icicle Spear. I click Follow Me. And then there's not much that they can do. So beautiful. A bit risky of a game plan, I suppose. I think Cali Ice is just that kind of mon where I have to take risks. I could have brought the Weezing. Weezing would have been pretty good here, but I just wasn't sure because the Cali Ice was still doing quite a bit of heavy damage and I wasn't really forcing much into the Cali Ice. So that's why I tried to do a setup game with Baxcaliber. But yeah, I mean, it still worked out. We go for Follow Me, I guess. Is there a world I can lose? I'm trying to think. Is there a world I can lose? I don't think so. You know what? I'm going to Shed Tail for Kyogre and I'm just going to Icicle Spear. That was going to be forfeit. Because then I just get Kyogre for free. I click Thunder and I don't have to worry about Hurricane Confusion, but 2 Icicle Spear should always just threaten the Pelipper anyway. So yeah, there's like no way I think I could lose in that spot. Calyx Ice Rider, Urshifu, we have Cornerstone Ogerpon, Raging Bolt, Entei, and Amoonguss. All right, Cornerstone Ogerpon's scary. I do like Bax in this game though. Bax can be nice. Do I want Weezing? Probably not. It doesn't do much here. Yeah, I'd probably not want Weezing. Am I going with the Slowking? Slowking can be really good. Slowking can be really good here. Smeargle can also be nice if I play it well. Yeah, there's like quite a bit I could do. I think I like Smeargle a lot. Am I playing Kyogre? I kind of like Kyogre, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't. Unless I find a Shed Tail position to it. But you know what? I'm going to try Slowking Entity. Like Kyogre Water Spout's nice, but they have Cornerstone Ogerpon, they have Raging Bolt, they have Entei with extreme speed, which probably is Focus Sash and can take a hit, and Calyx Ice Rider, which it's okay, but yeah. I guess the problem is I'm not bringing the best damage output into Cali, but I guess this is all right. Smeargle plus Bax. Ooh, this is tricky. This is tricky. Cornerstone Ogerpon is a threat. I don't know what we're gonna see here though, because I have Fake Out potential and more. I kind of want to just Swords Dance and Fake Out the Ogerpon. Are you gonna go for Follow Me? Because I could Spore. Or are they just gonna double attack here? Because I could go for Protect Spore, but if they Follow Me, this is pretty bad. You know what? RS Protect Spore. Because I think if they attack with Ogerpon, the worst would be Cali probably just going to go for Protect itself. I should have faked out Swords Dance, man. I should have faked out Swords Dance. I had to read right. But now they got to respect the Spore here too. So they might Follow Me here anyway the next turn. Because we both have our Ice types. Or we both have a Pokemon that's threatened. Moody, Special Attack Rise, Defense Fall. Shouldn't matter because I should be dropping anyway to these Pokemon. How much of a risk do I want to take, man? I guess I could also just go for, you know, I could actually just go for Terra Poison, go for Icicle Spear, and I could Spore the Cali Ice. And assuming it's not Terra Grass, I do get the guaranteed Spore off. So that covers the Follow Me here, so I might as well just go for it because this covers Ivy Cudgel, but this also covers Follow Me. I think they're probably going to Follow Me, but I'll do this to be safe. And if they Terra Grass, then they're weak to my Icicle Spear. Yeah, so that's... Like, I was thinking about going for the hard rate and not coming my Terra, but I think this still works out. I get an Icicle Spear knockout into the Ogerpon. I get the Spore off into Cali Ice, which is fantastic. So we're looking pretty good here. We are looking pretty good here. As we get a Spore off into Cali. All right, pretty good turn two. Turn one, almost called it. I should go with my gut more, but I felt like it was still a decent mid ground, but now I'm in a pretty good spot. Let's see who they bring out next. Another special attack rise, man. Another defense fall. Oh boy. It doesn't change anything at least, which is good. Amoonguss comes in. Okay. Ooh, I have some fun plays I can do here. I think I'm going to Sword Stance with the Baxcaliber, and I think I'm going to go for a Shed Tail with Smeargle and get in my Slowking. Should I protect Shed Tail? I don't know who you're sporing. I could see you spore the... I could see Terra Water and spore the Smeargle slot. But we'll see. I think Slowking's in a pretty good position though. We see a Terra come out for my opponent, so I think this is Terra Water on Amoonguss, which is fine. Yeah. So I'm okay with that. I mean, I wish I could have forced the Calia Terra, but I just knew that wasn't likely happening in this game. Unless, again, I could spore the Calia since Terra Grass, but... You know what's crazy? I guess I could have went for Icicle Spear and Spore into Amoonguss, but I don't know if Icicle Spear would KO if I get the 4-hitter into Amoonguss. I don't think it's worth it, ever. Alright, we get the Shed Tail off. We get to go out into our Slowking. That's behind a Substitute. Nice! They spored into the Amoonguss slot. Beautiful. They did wake up, though. Get Trick Room. It's not ideal, but it's okay. Alright. They did get the Trick Room up. This can be a bit difficult. I do have Brasna. It doesn't change anything, though. I think this is probably just protect my Baxcaliber and Expanding Force the Amoonguss. Yeah, I think this is a play. And then I Expanding Force switch into Entity the next turn. I think that would be... And hope that Amoonguss goes down. So Expanding Force coming out into the Amoonguss. I don't know if I'll KO with the next Expanding Force, though. I guess we'll find out. This is Spore into Bax. Yep. And then the Cali Ice is just going to go for Glacial. Unless they want a high horsepower, which is sure. Should I went Entity and just taken the Spore? I didn't really want to. Does my sub get broken, though? I would have really liked the sub still around, but that's fine. Or is it? I think we always go Entity here. And we always click Expanding Force. Maybe I should have clicked No, Amoonguss is light, right? There's no way that Grass Knot was doing more than Expanding Force that turn. Now we get to go for the Psychic Terrain boosted Expanding Force and hope that we can blow up the Amoonguss. I don't know where you're going to go for, though, with the... It's a tricky game. Maybe I should have spored the Amoonguss. Because I was reading the Terra Water earlier. Oh, we speed tie. With Slowking. That's weird. That's weird for me. I guess it's kind of alright, but it's gonna come down to do I KO the Amoonguss this turn? Or the next turn, because the next turn's gonna be important. Facial Lance. Okay. That did so much to Slowking, jeez. Turn to Trick Room, I mean... I think it's in the back. I think I probably still want Entity around, so I think I go for Helping Hand and I go for Expanding Force. Amoonguss retreats into Dark Ursh? No, Raging Bolt. Okay, so Raging Bolt takes a lot of damage, which I do appreciate. Entity stays asleep, which is fine. Okay. Good damage. And Glacial Lance. Okay, I gotta figure out a position afterwards. Slowking took so much. It goes down to the next attack. I guess this is all right. It's not terrible, but it might come down to a read afterward. I always go backs here. They utilized their Terra already, so I don't have to worry about the Terra. Am I clicking Expanding Force or am I clicking Scald? I think I always click Scald in this position to get extra damage into the Cali. No, I don't want to burn the Cali, actually, now that I think about it, right? No, I would not want to burn the Cali. Because I want Smeargle to come in safely. Yeah, I'm just going to click Protect and Expanding Force. I think Bax can win this endgame if I position it well. Yeah. Because the Amoonguss was low on HP, so it should go down to a Scale Shot. And if anything switches into Amoonguss, it goes down here. So that's perfect for me. No, I do think I can set up for the Bax win. Nice, nice. If Raging Bolt goes down, if Amoonguss goes down here, I'm in a really good spot. I guess even if it doesn't, I can just Spore and Icicle Spear that slot, so it's fine. So I protect the Bax, get in my Expanding Force Mon. It might come down to if Cali stays asleep, I guess, or if Scale Shot knocks out the Cali and I have to hit. So Amoonguss goes down. We did go for the Expanding Force to try and catch it, which is nice. Beautiful. Slowking goes down to the Life Orb. And Glacial Land's going to go into Protect. The last turn Trick Room is over. So Trick Room expires. I get the free Smeargle switch in, and I can go for a Spore here into the Cali Ice while I can get a into an Icicle Spear into the Raging Bolt. And I guess if Raging Bolt has Protect, then it's a game. But it can't Terra because the Amoonguss Terra'd earlier. But then again, I could just Spore the Raging Bolt the next turn and I can go for Scale Shot into Cali Ice. So the game wouldn't even be over even if the Raging Bolt has a Protect option. So we Spore the Cali Ice and we go for Icicle Spear. They protect the Cali Ice, which means they guarantee lose here because I am going to be able to get a Icicle Spear off into the Raging Bolt. And that will be able to knock out the Raging Bolt. Oh my goodness, that's incredible. That is incredible. Or at least maybe it's... Do I want to risk that 2 Icicle Spears knock out Cali Ice in this position? Like 8 hits of Icicle Spear, would that knock out Cali Ice? I'm feeling like it's no. Oh, they're hoping for a Moody, I guess. But even if I get a speed drop, the Cali Ice would have to be super slow. Yeah, I just don't think 8 hits of Icicle Spear is enough. I think I have to Scale Shot once. I just got to hit one of the Scale Shots. Ideally the first one, because then I could just go for Icicle Spear afterward if it doesn't KO. And oh, we beat the Cali Ice without the restricted. Oh man. Got a lot of the reads right, and I knew what I needed in the back. I felt like Smeargle was one of the most valuable partners next to the Baxcaliber because I knew that I could set up for an end game with Spore plus like getting KOs. So that's what I aimed for after Trick Room was set up, and oh boy, did it go crazy. Luckily they didn't Spore my Slowking. They Spored my Slowking. That would have been bad. That would have been really bad. But doing enough damage to Slowking to set up for Bax in a win felt really nice. All right, we have a Rillaboom, Chi-Yu, Tornadus Incarnate, Fluttermane, Zamazenta, and the Ogerpon Cornerstone. Interesting build for Zamazenta. All right, how do I want to perform against this? Double Grass, which I do have to respect. Torn might be Sunny Day on this team, so Kyogre is looking pretty rough to get attacks off with. All right. They have a really tough time against Weezing, actually, now that I think about it. I actually kind of like Weezing lead. How bad is Weezing lead? I feel like Weezing lead's actually pretty good. I like Weezing lead because Weezing shuts down Flutter Chi-Yu. There's no Tailwind from the Tornadus that can really happen. Yeah, I kind of like Weezing. I think I'm going to lead Weezing plus Kyogre potentially because it does have a lot of strong outputs here. Yeah, I kind of like it. And then I think in the back, Slowking and... do I want Indeedee or do I want Smeargle? I think I would want to go with Smeargle. The reason I want to go Smeargle is because I think Smeargle might play better into this build. I don't know. There's like a lot of what ifs. I felt like Smeargle could help because I can sport a Zamazenta, and that might be more helpful than Entity, but having Psychic Terrain might have been useful too. Although I could get just stopped by the Wide Guard from Zamazenta, which is why I decided to go with Smeargle instead. But I'll take this lead for sure. Torn plus the Zamazenta is fine. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. I can just stretch in some pretty powerful damage across the board. I could go for Water Spout, or I could go for Hydro Pump. The Zamazenta doesn't get a boost here. Yeah, so I don't think I mind this too much. The question is, am I hitting moves? Which is always going to be a question mark. I think I just want to go for a Play Rough into the Zamazenta. I want to go for Hydro Pump too, or do I want to Water Spout? Are you going to Wide Guard? Do you have really a point of going for Wide Guard this turn? I could see Protect more likely, actually. Yeah, I'm going to go for Water Spout. Just straight up Water Spout plus Play Rough. I don't even know if it'll knock out the Torn. It might be Focus Sash, or it might be Bulky Covert Cloak, which is fine. But I think Zamazenta would probably just go for Body Press instead. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. I'm able to get a huge Water Spout off. Massive damage across the board. As we see Body Press into Kyogre, which is fine. I do take damage, but as long as Kyogre's around, we're still good. Air Slash going to come out into the Kyogre, which is fine. And I'm able to get Play Rough into the Zamazenta, which looks like it's going to KO the next turn, assuming I land in the next one. This Water Spout knockout Torn. It looks really close, but I think I'm going to risk it. If you Wide Guard, the Zamazenta goes down. If you don't Wide Guard, Torn should go down, and then Zamazenta should have no way to KO the Weezing this turn. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm okay with losing Kyogre. I think this is still a really good position. Sure, Origin Pulse might have been better, but I think the pressure here is actually not bad. Assuming Water Spout KOs the Torn, of course. I guess another play I could... No, because if I did Origin Pulse, it would probably have been more likely Wide Guard this turn. Yeah, I get Water Spout off. I do KO the Torn. Beautiful. And the Zamazenta will definitely go down to Play Rough if I connect the attack here. So Torn goes down. Beautiful. As we are going to see the Body Press into the Weezing, expecting maybe a Terra defensively. We connect a Play Rough. So Zamazenta goes down and we're up 4-2. That is a great spot to be in. I even kept my Kyogre. So Kyogre can actually reset here if I want to, which is pretty nice. Flutter Mane gonna come out. If this is Flutter Mane plus Rila, we're in such a good spot. Yes, sir. No booster energy. Beautiful, beautiful. Who do I want to go for the attacks into? I think I always go for the Flutter. I'm gonna Gunk Shot the Flutter because it might one shot, and I'm gonna go Slowking. Terra wise, it probably is Slowking if it survives this field. I'm going Slowking because if Slowking goes down this turn, I don't think it's that big of a... Maybe I should have sacked Kyogre, because Terra Grass Slowking might have been better in this spot. Potentially, I'm not sure. I don't know. It's still weak to U-turn. Moonblast is doing a lot. I think Kyogre gets one guaranteed attack off, assuming it connects, so I think it might be better, but we'll see. Fake Out going to go out into Weezing. Shadow Ball? Okay, that's fair. Looks like Shadow Ball's a roll. I mean, it looks like you're right. If I don't get the damage in a Rila, it's really bad. The question is, how fast is your Rila, and are you doubling up the Weezing slot? Oh, this might have been not as good as I would have hoped. And I can't really switch out because that gives him terrain, which is bad too. I think I got a Gunk Shot to Rila. And I think we're going to go for a Scald into Flutter. This was not an ideal spot, actually. I just gotta hope that the Wheezing survives the turn, I guess, because I was expecting to take as much damage with the Wheezing as I did, but it kind of makes sense. They kind of gotta focus on the Wheezing, and the Water Spout wasn't doing much damage. They knew I was probably gonna switch, so looking back, I think Smeargle would have been a freer switch. I did go for Dazzling Gleam in case I went for I guess in case of a read. Woodhammer and a Slowking to prevent a Trick Room. Oh, the Terra Grass is huge here. Can I get the Gunk Shot, please? I land the Gunk Shot. Beautiful. That's important because it one-shots Starila, and now it's looking really good for my remainder. So we get Scald off into the Flutter. Oh, this might still actually be very awkward. Actually, no, because if they Dazzling Gleam, Wheezing survives the attack. So I can go for Play Rough, and I guess I could attempt a Trick Room. Is there another play that I have here? I could sack Kyogre, I guess, but if I sack Kyogre, it doesn't change anything. No, yeah, I just go for... Actually, no. I think as long as I don't get crit on the Weezing with Dazzling Gleam, I'm pretty sure I have an out, because if I miss a Play Rough, I'll be fine. Oh, I guess... Well, if it's Terra Fairy, that's not bad. Oh, wait, hold on. If it's Terra Fairy, I should have sacked Kyogre. No, I should have sacked Kyogre here. This is bad. Depending on the Flutter set, though. Dazzle. Oh, Wheezing survives. That's so clutch. Okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. The Wheezing is so clutch. Wheezing's so clutch here. And we connect the Play Rough anyway. As long as Wheezing survived, I was going to go Smeargle the next turn. Then I just get a Fake Out into Play Rough again. Or I could go for Spore. As long as I get Spore off and hit like one of the moves eventually with Kyogre or Wheezing, I think I win the game. But that ended up being... definitely scarier than I thought. They also had to be Booster Energy with Flutter. They weren't Booster Energy with Flutter, but I assume on that team it's most likely Booster Energy Flutter. It could have been scary. I think I should have probably... I think I should have got Smeargle in. If I got Smeargle in on the... Instead of going at Slowking, I think I would have had a much better spot. And when I think about it, because I locked into Water Spout, it's like way more obvious to target the Wheezing, I think, at that point. So... Definitely should have just went into Smeargle. Second went for a Fake Out or a Follow Me plus a Gunk Shot, and that would have been a game-changing position right there. Muck, Tatsugiri, Dondozo, Flamigo, Calyx, Shadow Rider, and Smeargle. Okay. What's actually funny is Weezing's pretty good into the Smeargle Muck. I have no idea. And into Tatsugiri, Dondozo. So I do want to bring the Weezing here. Weezing is pretty good. I think I want to just go with Wheezing Smeargle because my opponent has a lot of struggle against that, unironically, because Spore is really good to negate a lot of their factors. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good. Or do I want to go with Wheezing plus... I don't know. I like this. I like Wheezing plus Smeargle. I bring the Slowking. Probably not. It doesn't do... Actually, I could. Well, I would probably prefer Kyogre doing a lot of damage if possible. I think I just go with Kyogre Bax as the back. I don't need Indy in the game, and I don't think I need Slowking. Unless I need, like, defensive pivots. A Slowking could, I guess, under Trick Room Sweep, if under the right potential, because Dondozo can't do much to Slowking. But... I think I'd rather, like, I'd have to bring Indy plus Slowking in order to do that, and I just don't think I want to. I want to have backup answers to Calyx Shadow Rider, because always that's a threat. Especially if it goes for Terra. So we're going to see the lead of the Smeargle Muck. Okay. I guess this doesn't stop them from being able to go for Minimize, though, which is a concern. I'm going to go for a Play Rough into the Smeargle. And I think I'm just going to attempt to go for a Fake Out into the Muck. V-Ties, so Smeargle gets affected, sure. Play Rough connects, which is great, into the Smeargle slot, nice. And Minimize, okay. I'm gonna go for a... This is Follow Me, right? Unless you want to go Greedy and Spore, but I just don't think you ever do. I could have went for Terranormal Explosion, but I don't think they KO'd Muck. I think I'm just going to go for Assurance into the Smeargle. Do I go for Assurance into Smeargle? I want to have the Cali feel like it's safe. I'm going to play rough the Smeargle again. And I'm going to go for Spore into the Muck. Or at least attempt to Spore into Muck. They do go for the Follow Me, which makes sense. I guess this could get awkward depending on what attack they want to click. But this is still fine. We'll land a Spore into Smeargle. If we miss, I guess this isn't too bad. Maybe I should have went for Gunk Shot for a chance to miss so I could get like a Spore attempt into the Muck at +4. But yeah, we are able to KO the Smeargle, which is nice. And we're going to see the Minimize come out once again. All right. It shouldn't be expanding force on the Cali. It might have Psych Up though. That's what I'm concerned about. Psych Up Cali is not fun. Cali comes in. All right. It might be a Psychic type move, which is fine. They run Focus Sash on this team. I feel like it's on the Dozo usually. I'm just going to go for Assurance and I'm going to go for Follow Me because it prevents the... It prevents... Okay, they protect the Scout. All right. I go for the Follow Me with the Smeargle because I was trying to redirect the Psych Up so I could go for the Assurance. I'm kind of curious what Terra the Cali is. If I can get a Gunk Shot, that'd be really nice. +6 Muck. Boy, we're not gonna have fun against this team. I'm gonna read a Terra from the Cali now because I don't think you would Terra Muck against my team anyway. Like its defensive typing is already pretty good. Am I keeping Smeargle around is the question. I don't think I would. I'd probably just go on to Bax. Or I would even hard risk my Kyogre here. I don't think you're gonna go. You know what? I'd rather risk the Kyogre here because I don't know what Terra to Cali is. It might be normal, but I could also see it being Fairy, which is why I'm going for a Gunk Shot. But my idea here is that they don't knock off my Smeargle, I'm able to pressure the Cali slot very nicely. So let's see if I'm correct. We do see the Terra on the Cali, which is beautiful. Like my idea here is to get a potential Shed Tail into Wheezing and then just wall the... Does that even work? I don't think it does. We do see a Terra Grass on the Cali, so that's funny at least. Astral Barrage is fine. I wish I Shed Tail now, but that's okay. Yeah, I take that extremely well. I do land a Gunk Shot into the Cali and bring it down. Goodbye, Cali. That Assurance tech. That's why I didn't want to reveal Assurance because I want to mind game them if in general. If they went for the Psych Up immediately, I want to punish that. They did get the knockoff in Kyogre, but that's fine. I'm trying to figure out if I can win. Can I beat the Muck on timer? I just don't know if I have the capabilities of beating the Muck on timer. Flamigo comes in. Not really able to KO here. Well, I had Terra Poison Bax. Maybe Terra Poison Bax can set up properly. What attack do I want to go for? I could see the Flamigo protecting here. But I think Origin Pulse is always the best play plus play rough. Because I don't think they can knock out my Muck at the range it's at. I missed a Muck, which is not surprising, but I do hit the Flamigo. Okay, nice. Acrobatics. Okay. They wanted to knock out, which is fine, into the Kyogre. But I am able to get play rough into the Flamigo, which is really important there. Okay, beautiful. They go for a knockoff, which we absolutely take. Okay. I'm trying to think about how the rest of this game goes. Smeargle live one knockoff. I have no clue. We have our sash broken, so I don't think so. Can a Shed Tail allow me to get into Baxcaliber safely? That's what I'm thinking here. I think I go Bax first. Like, this is going to be a tough one. I do think it's manageable, but I do think it's rough. I think I go out into Smeargle first and I protect the backs. I do think this is a play. Yeah. If they knock off the Wheezing game, good play on their part, but I think you're going to respect the backs more than you are the Wheezing, because the Wheezing's not doing anything at this point. They have Power of Alchemy, so it's useless in the game. Smeargle could also get Moody's, which is actually something that can help out here. Poison Gas. Okay. Which I don't mind, actually, because it doesn't change anything here. It actually helps me because the Smeargle taking damage allows me to build up a timer endgame. Okay. So we get attack raise, which doesn't help. Special defense fall, that doesn't help. Are you gonna poison gas again, or are you gonna knock off? If you knock off, I think you might poison gas again realistically and start building up the damage to backs. I really want to get a Shed Tail off with Smeargle and go into Wheezing. I think I need to build timer. I'm only winning this game through timer unless I get really lucky with the backs hitting one of my icicle spears, I think, at +6, which is possible, I suppose. Neutralizing gas. That is really good for me. That is really good for me. Okay, Shed Tail Smeargle, we are out of here. We are out of here. And then we get to bring in the backs. Timer wise, I still have like, what, 12 minutes on the clock? I can win if I get like a +4 icicle spear into the muck, I think, but that's asking for a lot. That is a lot. I do think my best play is just to protect though with backs, and I don't have much time actually. Oh boy, am I even gonna have enough time? I didn't realize I had only 3 minutes 30 seconds on the clock. I gotta switch into Smeargle here. Hope that they don't knock off so I could go for a follow me the next turn, or maybe get a fake out off into muck, which would be ideal. Depending on how much HP Smeargle has, of course. Nice, 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 nice. Now I can get a Swords Dance up for free. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I can risk a Swords Dance here. Defense Rise, but unfortunately that doesn't matter at this point in the game. But yeah, we'll go for Swords Dance with the backs, and we'll go for a... It's always Spore here, right? Because if I fake out, it doesn't even matter. Like, Spore can get me multiple turns if it lands, which is better odds than fake out. Yeah, so I just always Spore here. Because if I land a Spore, that's pretty big. Next turn, I'll go for a follow me guaranteed, I think. Does the knockoff get extra power if it hits into the sub because I don't technically get my item knocked off? I think it's probably breaking the sub anyway, but it would be interesting to note. Yeah, my sub fades here, but that's fine. I think they're gonna go for... Don't be speed drop. Okay. I think they're gonna go for poison gas this turn. I think I still follow me in Swords Dance anyway. Yeah. Having 2 poison types is good against Wheezing in the end game, and all I have to do is just hit 1 Icicle Spear. And when we start going for the attacks, I'll just probably fast forward and pray that we hit 1. So yeah, I saved the Terror for this kind of moment of the backs. Minimize is just always gonna be minimize things, unfortunately, but yeah, there's not much I can do. And I'm kind of glad I didn't go the Slowking route because there was nothing I could really do against a muck if I brought the Slowking. So we'll follow me to prevent a knockoff, guaranteed here. And now that we're +4, we should be able to knock out muck assuming we land 1 attack. I think we just gotta land 1 attack. And they did knock off the Smeargle, so that's actually huge. Okay. Now all we have to do is just hit 1 eventually. I'll probably just protect the backs for one turn because they have to target into it anyway. So I can get a chance to maybe hit the play rough, I guess, into the muck for extra damage. Because like all they can really do is knock off the Weezing because their set is protect, minimize, poison gas, knock off. It can't really do anything here other than knock off. So I'll go for chip if I can land an attack. It matters for the knockoff later. Smart play by them. But yeah, I gotta go for Icicle Spear and the play rough. Come on, Bex. Okay. I also have to get like a decent hitter, maybe like a 3-hitter into the muck. Why are you ignoring the backs? Interesting. Interesting. Hit. Let's go! Looks like we needed a 3 or 4 hitter. I think it's a 4. Oh, thank goodness they didn't knock out the backs that turn. Then I would have also had to play that or hitting an extra move. But oh, thank goodness, man. We're not losing to Muck Smeargle today. Actually crazy. Even though we have the ability to shut down the moody part, the minimize part is still something I didn't have technically a counter to because they had opportunity to minimize. If I go Kyogre, the problem with setting up the Kyogre is the Smeargle has a wide guard potential possibility. It's just pretty rough, so very happy with that. All right, we have Whimsicott, Koraidon, Annihilate, Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, and Raging Bolt. What an offensive team. That really relies on abilities, and guess what Weezing has? A way to shut down your abilities. I feel like I like Koraidon in this matchup if I set it up properly, and I really do, actually. I don't really like Bax because it doesn't do much, other than, I guess, into the Raging Bolt is fine. I think I could see myself go for a Terraplan with a Slowking, though. I kind of want to do Weezing plus Indeedee. It's a really weird lead, but it also puts in a lot of offense against this. Yeah, I think I'll go with Weezing plus Indeedee. Or do I go Smeargle here? It doesn't really work against the Chi-Yu. I also want Indeedee. Like, I want the Psychic Terrain, and I think Slowking is going to be the main sweeper, not Kyogre. Because they have so many Pokemon that are weak to Expanding Force. I guess I could see a position where I could set up either Kyogre or Slowking to sweep. Like, Expanding Force is pretty big in Psychic Terrain because the only immunity they have is Chi-Yu. And I guess the Raging Bolt of Absolvest is going to be annoying. But otherwise, Kyogre can definitely sweep. I need damage in a Raging Bolt, though. That's like the most important mod. Raging Bolt is probably the biggest target I need to get the KO into. Or damage into, because that mod just takes hits really well. Fluttermane, Chi-Yu against Weezing and Indeedee. All right. Man, if I like Kyogre, this would have been perfect. So this is Dark Pulse, or they fire a attack here, which isn't ideal. If I lose Indeedee, can I win this game? Yeah, Kyogre can. It's not as ideal, but it's definitely possible. I think I'm just gonna go for a Gunk Shot. Sometimes we just gotta hit those Gunk Shots, and we'll go for Trick Room. Gunk Shot should KO Fluttermane as well. Like in case they Heat Wave, yeah, and Shadow Ball to Weezing, but it's not KOing the Weezing. They go for Gleam actually, so they don't get a single knockout, which is really big because I get to Trick Room up for free, and I get a Gunk Shot into Flutter, which should KO. And if not, because it's Focus Sash Flutter, then I threaten to Chi-Yu the next turn with Dazzling Gleam, so that's fine too. Yeah, I can go for Dazzling Gleam and Gunk Shot to Chi-Yu, so I will go for the Dazzling Gleam and Gunk Shot to Chi-Yu. Yeah, we have a pretty nice offensive position now, so I'll gladly take this. Flutter gonna switch out, which is fine. If this is Raging Bolt, it takes quite a bit. If it's Koraidon, it's a Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, so I knew that this is fine regardless. So I get a Dazzling Gleam off for some pretty big chip. Gunk shot into the Chiyu. How much does it do? Oh, wow. That's max attack wheezing for you, I suppose. Beautiful. Okay. So this is Koraidon next. If it's Koraidon, I gotta make sure that I don't mess this up, but I feel pretty good about my spot. I think it has to be too, right? Because he can't go Flutter, because if you go Flutter, I click Dazzling Gleam here. Yeah, Koraidon comes in. This might seem crazy, but I'm going Kyogre. And I'm gonna go for Follow Me with Indeedee. The reason is Raging Bull should be going for an attack into Indeedee. And what this allows me to do is sack Indeedee. I'm switching out to Wheezing because I want the Weathers to activate. So I want that Sun going up. Then I get the Rain, so Koraidon shut down. And I want the Psychic Terrain as well. So I get the Expanding Force Pressure with my Slowking the next turn into the Raging Bolt, which I think is huge for me. And I don't want to take damage on Slowking because I think Slowking actually allows me to win the game. We bring out the Kyogre. Photosynthesis is shut down. The sun is shut down. It is booster energy though on the Raging Bolt. Okay, that means it's not Assault Vessel. It's taking the Expanding Force is even worse. Follow me. There should be Thunderbolt into the Raging or into the Indeedee slot. Yep. And then I think this is probably Flare Blitz turning down to Wheezing. I could have went Slowking. It could have switched in, but it would have been Sun boosted Flare Blitz, and I don't really like that. Yeah, exactly. And now that we got rid of Chiyu, they have no switch into Expanding Force. Everything is getting blown up here. So I'm going into Slowking. I'm going to Terra Grass. Yeah, I'm going to Terra Grass. And I'm going to swap into Wheezing. I'm going to do some massive damage. The Wheezing prevents Koraidon from potentially setting up the Weather again. But also, I don't know who you're going to Thunderbolt. That is a good question. I don't know who you're going to Thunderbolt, actually. But Koraidon probably switches out here, I think. Into Flutter, exactly. And I think I guarantee win off that. As Flutter comes in, it's about to take a massive amount of damage from the Expanding Force. If Raging Bolt protects, this ends up being the perfect turn. The booster energy is shut off thanks to the neutralizing gas, and I have a Assault Vest on the Wheezing, and I'm Terra Grassing the Slowking. So unless he went for a Draco Meteor into the Slowking, I should be in a great spot. And that Draco Meteor has to KO Slowking, which I guess it's not impossible, but I think it's unlikely. Especially because you don't have your booster energy. Yeah, so Raging Bolt protects. Beautiful, as I do get the Expanding Force off. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. All right, goodbye, Flutter. And then this is the Koraidon, whose abilities cannot activate currently. I'm gonna go for a Play Rough into. I think Expanding Force Assurance gets it, probably. I have Rain up, so I don't think Flare Blitz KO Slowking. Maybe if you Terra, I guess. But you still take a big Expanding Force. I could Scald because I could see Koraidon going for a Terra Fire and Raging Bolt going for a double Protect attempt. But you also might just fear me going for Scald plus Play Rough into Koraidon. So there's like a lot of plays I could theoretically do. I don't think one has a guaranteed win, so I'm going to go for the one I think that has the best odds, which is KOing the Raging Bolt with Assurance plus Expanding Force here. Because then I think Kyogre just wins, because I think they're forced to Terra Fire the Koraidon. Yeah, exactly. Because now I think Kyogre should win right off the bat, assuming the RNG is okay. And yeah, it looks like they didn't go for the double, so I feel like I'm pretty good here. Ah, that did less to Raging Bolt than expected. Wait. Sharon's double? Oh, no. I shouldn't KO Wheezing, though. Okay. Flare Blitz. They're going to take recoil. Okay, no, I survived. Wait, do I? No, wait. Oh, no. Okay, wait. I think I'm still fine. Oh, am I still fine? No, I think I lose. I thought Expanding Force was doing more to Raging Bolt because it was booster. I guess Assurance is really weak. They're gonna Flame Charge and get a knockout here. Yeah, they Flame Charge. The Slowking. Yep. I actually don't remember. Does Raging Bolt get back its booster energy proc if it goes down? Like, because no, it doesn't, right? Because it's gonna get booster energy from Sun. Maybe I should. I think if I switched out Slowking, I lose because Kyogre comes in, then Wheezing still goes down. The weather changes. Yeah, no, I need the. I think my best bet is just Kyogre being able to go for Origin Pulse here. I do have Psychic Terrain still up, but they just double protect on the last turn of Psychic Terrain, right? And then click Thunderclap plus the attacks, and I still have to hit Origin Pulse. Yes, the last turn of Psychic Terrain. I should play rough. I had to gamble. This is the fear with the Wheezing. Inaccurate move, so I went for the I thought was going to be a safe KO, but it was not. I guess 120 power is like a lot weaker because I'm used to Assurance from like King Get. No, that doesn't matter, right? Because Koraidon still outspeeds and gets a collision course off. Wait, I'm faster than Koraidon. What? Wait, that Koraidon is really slow. That's like no speed investment, right? Or maybe not no speed investment, but that's not much at all. I guess that explains why Expanding Force did less to Koraidon than I thought, but I don't know. I guess it was just max. Maybe it's just max bulk on Koraidon and Raging Bolt. I thought they were gonna get collision course off and then Thunderclap clears me once Psychic Terrain comes out. Okay, that's crazy. They don't go for Thunderclap crit, which I'm surprised about, but Raging Bolt goes down. I'll take it. Should have went for play rough, Ed. I should have went for play rough. It didn't go for the double protect win con with Raging Bolt, and I'm like, okay, I hope that this double up the KOs. Expanding Force did less than I thought, which it does do a pretty decent chunk. It's just that was a very bulky Raging Bolt and a very bulky Koraidon that had like no speed investment. But because of that, my Kyogre was able to outspeed the Koraidon because I'm Timid Choice Scarf. And then they didn't get the collision course off, and they didn't go for Thunderclap crit, so I don't know what to say, man. All right, let's go over the games. In game one, I felt like I had a pretty good start with being able to set up the Baxcaliber, but of course, Calyx Ice Rider is always scary and threatening because they actually just went on the offense immediately, going for the Trick Room, not fearing the Smeargle Fake Out or Spore, and then I had to play around the Trick Room, but I felt like I had a really good endgame position. I did have to rely on a few Hydro Pumps, but that's sometimes how Kyogre functions, and was able to land them and get a really good endgame setup for my Baxcaliber. In game two, I felt like I had half the read right most of the time, but I still ended up getting some really good positions. The Spore into the Cali Ice was solid, be able to threaten a lot. I think I should have probably Spored the Amoonguss because I did think the Terra Water was going to happen, but it ended up going into a game plan where Cali Ice ended up being more threatening because it got an early wake, and I had to pivot from there. But thankfully, Slowking was able to absorb some attacks, and I was able to set up a really good end game for Baxcaliber and Smeargle once again to clean up the Cali Ice and its partners remaining. In game three, I definitely played more aggressive than usual, but I think with this team you have to sometimes click the Water Spout, and I think it was actually the best move of choice. Just discourage this Zamazenta from really clicking the Wide Guard because it did want to damage in the first turn. and it went pretty well for the first 2 turns. The rest, when Rillaboom Fluttermane come in, should have went into Smeargle for the Kyogre instead, because the Weezing was the biggest threat and they knew that the Kyogre wasn't going to stay around, or even if it did, it wasn't going to do much. So could have got better momentum, and it ended up being really dicey because the Rilla was faster than my Weezing, and I didn't get the Gunk Shot I needed into the Rillaboom, which was actually really terrifying, but was able to get that Gunk Shot into the Rilla in the end, and Weezing was just super clutch, able to survive the attacks and KO the Fluttermane afterward. In game 4, oh boy, Muck Smeargle. I can stop the Moody from getting transferred over to the Muck, disabling Power of Alchemy, but still had to play around Minimize. But I felt like some really good calls, being able to catch the Shadow Rider and KO it immediately without taking too much in response, knocking out the tools around the Muck. And then I felt like I played a really solid end game towards the Muck, where I think I put it in the best odds that I possibly could have. Unfortunately, I just ended up taking too much time at the beginning of the game, so I couldn't go for the timer win con in the end. But luckily, Baxcaliber ended up coming in clutch to knock out the Muck. In game 5, oh man, I would have just loved to have led Kyogre here, because Kyogre would have been very solid, but had a pretty strong game throughout, where I was able to get the Trick Room immediately because they got greedy, was probably trying to cover for like a Terra on the Entity, just went for the Heat Wave for the immediate damage of Weezing, which was a Pokemon that did give them a lot of trouble, so I do respect it. However, I blundered this game by going for Assurance, thinking Assurance Expanding Force was going to KO the Raging Bolt, which, spoilers, it did not. But then it just revealed that the Koraidon and the Raging Bolt were just insanely bulky, so Scarf Kyogre was able to outspeed the +1 Koraidon speed-wise and was able to actually secure the win. I definitely should have just went for the player up though and risked it into the Raging Bolt instead of the Assurance, because that was a bad play. Or I could have went for player up Scald into the Koraidon, which also would have worked as well. So those were the 2 options I had. Not sure what gave me the best odds, but I felt like going for the Raging Bolt was the best play because I knew I could clean up the Koraidon in the end game utilizing the Kyogre, so that is the route I decided to go for. But yes, should have always clicked player off. And that is the showcase of this team. It is a wild one. I think if I played this team for a while, it would still be very complicated because, again, there are so many different things you can do with this team. The Shed Tail Smeargle has so many options that can set up like a Baxcaliber, a Slowking, a Kyogre. There's many things you can do to disrupt teams with Weezing. Scarf Kyogre is just so threatening in general with the Water Spout that your opponents have to respect, especially with the Psychic Terrain, the Helping Hand support with the Entity. And the Slowking is a mon you do actually have to respect because it's got good special attack, and the Rain and the Psychic Terrain alongside the Life Orb means it's actually going to do some pretty good damage across the board. And don't forget the Baxcaliber that can creep in with a Swords Dance and just wreck shot with Scale Shot and Icicle Spear. Overall, a lot of fun tricks that you have. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, there'll be a link in the description down below. There is currently a rental code available of the team. This is my recreation. I think the Slowking is actually max attack by accident on this rental code, but I don't have a 0 attack Slowking, so if you do want to try it out, the rental code is on your screen. Only available for a short amount of time because I do need the rental spaces because I am recording a lot of videos recently, so make sure you grab while you can. But if not, again, you can check out the paste pin available in the description down below. But of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.